The champagne flute shattered against the marble floor as I blurted out the words I'd buried for years. "Ben, I'm in love with you." His fiancée's gasp echoed through the crowded ballroom. And in that instant, the world we'd built together cracked wide open. Ben's face drained of color, his eyes locking onto mine with a mix of horror and something unspoken, before he turned and fled the room, leaving me standing amid the stunned silence of his family and friends. It all started back in college at NYU, where Ben and I met during freshman orientation. He was the quintessential all-American guy, tall, athletic, with an easy smile that could light up any room. I was the quiet kid from a small town in Ohio, still figuring out my sexuality in a city that promised freedom but delivered isolation. We bonded over late-night study sessions and shared dreams of making it big in the corporate world. Ben wanted to follow in his father's footsteps, climbing the ladder at a prestigious law firm, while I aimed for a career in marketing, hoping to escape the shadows of my conservative upbringing. Our friendship deepened quickly. Weekends were spent exploring the city, grabbing slices at Joe's Pizza, wandering through Central Park, or catching indie films at the Angelica. Ben was straight, or so he said, dating a string of girls who never stuck around long. I kept my feelings hidden, convinced they were just a crush that would fade. But as years passed, those feelings grew roots, twisting into something I couldn't ignore. After graduation, we both landed jobs in Manhattan. Ben at his dad's firm, me at a mid-sized agency. We shared an apartment in Brooklyn to save on rent, turning it into our sanctuary. Mornings were coffee and banter, evenings takeout and Netflix. Felt like home, but for me it was torture. Watching him bring dates home, hearing their laughter through the thin walls. It chipped away at me. Then came Sarah. She was perfect for him on paper. Smart, ambitious, from a similar upscale family. They met at a networking event, and within months they were inseparable. Ben proposed on a romantic getaway to the Hamptons, and the engagement party was set at his parents' estate upstate. I was his best man, of course. The role felt like a cruel joke. The night of the party, I had planned to keep it together. But after a few drinks, seeing him so happy with her, the dam broke. My confession wasn't premeditated. It was a desperate eruption. As the glass hit the floor, Sarah's face twisted in confusion and hurt. Ben's parents, staunch conservatives from old money, stared daggers at me. His father, a pillar of the community with ties to local politics, approached with a forced calm. "Alex, I think you should leave," he said, his voice low but laced with steel. I stumbled out into the cool night air, my heart pounding. My phone buzzed relentlessly. Texts from mutual friends, calls from Ben that I ignored. What had I done? Ruined his life? Or finally spoken my truth? By the time I got back to our apartment, the locks were changed. A note from Ben. "Need space. Stay at a hotel." That was the first crack in our unbreakable bond. The next few days were a blur of regret and isolation. I crashed on a coworker's couch, replaying the scene in my head. Why now? Why there? But deep down, I knew, watching him commit to a life that didn't include me in the way I wanted was unbearable. My own family, back in Ohio, had disowned me when I came out senior year of high school. "We don't condone that lifestyle," my dad had said. So Ben had become my family. Losing him felt like losing everything. Then, a knock at the door late one night. It was Ben, disheveled, eyes red from lack of sleep. "We need to talk," he said, pushing past me into the dim living room. He paced, running hands through his hair. "What the hell, Alex? You dropped that bomb in front of everyone?" "Sarah's devastated. My parents are furious. They're threatening to cut me off if I don't fix this." I apologized, but the words felt hollow. I couldn't hold it in anymore. "It's been killing me." He stopped pacing, facing me. "Killing you? What about me? Do you have any idea what this means for my career? My life?" His voice cracked. "And the worst part? Part of me isn't surprised." My breath caught. "What do you mean?" Ben sank onto the couch, head in hands. I felt it too, the closeness. But I'm not. I can't be. He trailed off, the weight of societal expectations crushing him. His family was deeply religious, attending a church that preached traditional values. Coming out wasn't an option. It would mean exile from the only world he knew. We talked until dawn, unraveling years of unspoken tension. Ben admitted to questioning his sexuality in college, but he'd pushed it down, convinced it was a phase. Our friendship had blurred lines for him too. But now, with the confession out, the stakes were sky high. Sarah wanted answers. His parents demanded I be cut out of his life. And Ben? He was torn between loyalty to me and the path laid out for him. As the sun rose, he made a decision. I need time to think. But don't disappear on me. Okay? He left. And I was left wondering if this was the beginning of something real or the end of everything. The following weeks were a tense dance. Ben called off the engagement temporarily, citing personal issues. Sarah moved out, heartbroken but understanding on the surface. Rumors swirled at his firm, whispers about the incident at the party. His father pulled strings to keep it quiet, but the damage was done. Ben's promotion was put on hold, his reputation tainted by association. For me, work became a refuge. I threw myself into projects, but the guilt gnawed. Had I selfishly dragged him into my chaos? Or was I forcing him to confront his truth? We met secretly in coffee shops, parks, anywhere away from prying eyes. Conversations turned intimate, exploring what us could mean. But each meeting ended with Ben pulling back, haunted by fears of rejection. One evening, in a quiet diner in Queens, he confessed more. My dad sat me down last night, said if there's any truth to what you said, I'm out of the will, out of the firm. Everything I've worked for, gone. His eyes pleaded for understanding. I love you, Alex, as a friend. Maybe more. But is it worth losing my family? I didn't have an answer. The conflict tore at me too. My own coming out had cost me dearly. Estrangement from parents, lost friendships. But I'd found peace in authenticity. Ben wasn't there yet. Our talks revealed his internal war. The pull of societal norms versus the ache for genuine connection. The fallout from the party rippled outward like a stone in a pond, disturbing every aspect of our lives. Ben's decision to take a break from Sarah only fueled the fire. His parents, convinced I was the villain, hired a private investigator to dig into my past. Anything to discredit me. When Ben found out, he confronted them, leading to an explosive family dinner where words like disgrace and abomination were thrown around like weapons. I won't let you control me like this, Ben shouted at his father across the mahogany table. His mother wept silently, clutching her pearls. The scene ended with Ben storming out, driving straight to my temporary hotel room. They're insane, he said, collapsing beside me. For the first time, he reached for my hand, holding it tightly. It was a small gesture, but it ignited hope and fear. We began navigating this new territory cautiously.
No labels, no commitments, just stolent moments.
A walk in Washington Square Park, fingers brushing accidentally on purpose. Late-night talks on my fire escape, sharing dreams we'd never voiced. Ben opened up about his childhood pressures, the expectation to be the perfect son, marry well, produce heirs. It's like my life was scripted before I was born, he admitted one night, staring at the city lights. But reality intruded harshly. At work, Ben faced subtle discrimination. Colleagues who once slapped his back now avoided him. A senior partner pulled him aside. Rumors can kill a career, son. Get your house in order. The stress showed: sleepless nights, weight loss. He started seeing a therapist secretly, grappling with his identity. For me, the isolation deepened. Mutual friends chose sides. Most sided with Ben's normal life. One, our old roommate Jake, cornered me at a bar. Dude, you're messing him up. Let him go. It stung, reinforcing the societal narrative that my love was destructive. Then came the first real test. Ben's sister, Emily, the only family member somewhat open-minded, invited us to her birthday brunch in the suburbs. Come as friends, she said, but her knowing smile suggested more. We went, tense but hopeful. The gathering was civil until Ben's father arrived unannounced. Spotting us together, he exploded. "This is what you're choosing? Over your future?" Ben stood his ground. "Dad, Alex is important to me. Deal with it." It was a victory, but short-lived. That night, Ben got a call. His firm was restructuring, and his position was at risk. Coincidence? Unlikely. The message was clear. Association with me came at a cost. As weeks turned to months, our bond strengthened amid the chaos. We shared a kiss one rainy afternoon in my hotel lobby, tentative and electric. No passion, just raw emotion. "This feels right," Ben whispered, but doubt lingered. He still attended church with his family, sitting through sermons that condemned people like us. The hypocrisy ate at him, leading to heated arguments with himself. And me. "Why can't I just be normal?" he'd ask, frustration boiling over. I'd counter with my own story, the pain of denial versus the freedom of acceptance. But I couldn't force him. That would make me no better than his parents. The turning point came during a weekend getaway to the Catskills. Away from the city, we let guards down. Hiking trails, cooking simple meals, it felt like a glimpse of what could be. On the last night, by the fire, Ben said, "I think I'm ready to tell Sarah the truth. End it for good." My heart soared, but caution tempered it. "Are you sure? What about your family?" He shrugged. "They'll come around. Or they won't. But I can't live a lie." Returning to the city, reality hit hard. Sarah, sensing the shift, demanded a meeting. They met at a cafe near Central Park. I waited anxiously at home, our apartment, where Ben had let me back in. Hours later, he returned, face ashen. "She knows. About us." "How?" "She guessed. And she threatened to go public if I don't marry her." It was blackmail born of hurt. Sarah came from a prominent family too. A scandal would ruin her as much as him. But her pain twisted into vengeance. "Give me the life I deserve or everyone knows," she'd said. Ben was devastated. "I can't let her destroy us. But if I fight, it all comes out. My confusion are, whatever this is." We debated options late into the night. Call her bluff? Involve lawyers? Each path risked exposure. Ben's internal conflict raged. Loyalty to me versus self-preservation. In the end, he chose a middle ground. Meet her demands temporarily by time. Felt like a betrayal, even if unintended. "Just until I figure this out," he promised. But as he left to placate her, doubt seeded in my mind. Was he truly committed, or using me as an escape? The next blow came from my side. My boss, overhearing office gossip, called me in. "Alex, your personal life is affecting your performance. Shape up." It was a warning. My job was on the line too. The societal pressure closed in, forcing us to question every decision. Amid this, Ben's therapist suggested he explore his feelings more openly. He attended a support group for questioning men, finding solace in shared stories. It empowered him but also highlighted the risks: lost jobs, fractured families. One evening after group, he came home energized. "I get it now. The fear is real, but so is the joy on the other side." We talked about a future together, tentative plans. But fate intervened. His father suffered a minor heart attack, blamed on stress from family issues.
Guilt crushed Ben.
"This is my fault," he said, rushing to the hospital. There, his family ambushed him with an ultimatum. Cut ties with me, reconcile with Sarah, or be disowned.
Torn, Ben wavered.
He spent days at the hospital, absorbing their pleas. When he returned, his eyes were hollow. "I need to think about what's right for everyone." It was the first crack in our fragile union. As File 2 ended, the tension peaked. Ben's choice loomed, promising heartbreak either way. The cost of love was mounting, and neither of us was prepared for the fallout. The hospital visit marked a shift, pulling Ben back into his family's orbit. He distanced himself subtly, fewer texts, canceled plans. "Just need space to process," he'd say. But I saw the signs. The rekindled lunches with Sarah, the family dinners he attended without complaint. I confronted him one night in our living room, the air thick with unspoken accusations. Are you going back to her? To that life? Ben sighed, avoiding my gaze. It's not that simple, Alex. Dad's recovery is slow. Mom's a wreck. They need me. And what about us? My voice rose, laced with hurt. He finally looked at me. Us? We're an experiment. A risk. I love you. But is it enough to blow up my world? The words landed like punches. An experiment? After all we'd shared? Rage bubbled, but beneath it, understanding. Ben's world was privilege and expectation. Mine, resilience born of rejection. Our conflicts weren't just personal. They mirrored society's divides. Desperate, I suggested couples counseling. Let's get help. Figure this out together. He agreed reluctantly. Our therapist, a kind woman in Midtown, unpacked layers. Ben's internalized homophobia, my fear of abandonment. Sessions were raw, exposing vulnerabilities. Ben admitted suppressing attractions since high school, fearing judgment. I shared my isolation post-coming out, how Ben had been my anchor. Progress was slow, but tangible. Ben started setting boundaries with his family. I won't discuss my personal life, he told them. Sarah, sensing defeat, backed off her threats, but not before leaking hints to mutual friends, amplifying rumors. The backlash hit Ben's career hard. A major client pulled out, citing instability. His father, from his sickbed, berated him. You're throwing it all away for what? A phase? Ben's resolve cracked under the pressure. One session, he broke down. I can't do this. The cost is too high. Our therapist urged patience, but the damage was done. That night, Ben packed a bag. I'm staying with Emily for a bit. Clear my head. Alone in the apartment, I spiraled. Friends urged me to move on. He's not worth it. But love isn't logical. I threw myself into work, landing a big campaign that could mean promotion. Success felt hollow without him. Weeks later, Ben returned, apologetic. I missed you. Let's try again. We reconciled, but trust was frayed. We kept things low-key, avoiding public displays. But secrecy bred resentment. Ben chafed at hiding. I feared another abandonment. Then, a bombshell. Sarah announced she was pregnant. From before the breakup, she claimed. Ben was floored. It's mine. I have to do right by her. By the kid. The revelation shattered me. You slept with her during our break? No. Before everything blew up. But timing was suspicious. Tests confirmed paternity. Ben's family rejoiced, seeing it as divine intervention. This is your path, his father said. Ben faced an impossible choice. Embrace fatherhood with Sarah, or pursue us and risk alienation from his child. Morality clashed, duty versus desire. I can't abandon my kid, he said tearfully. I understood, but it gutted me. So that's it? We end. Not end. Just pause. But pauses in love often become permanent. The conflict escalated at a family meeting Ben invited me to, hoping for understanding. Instead, it was an ambush. His parents laid out terms. Marry Sarah, secure the family legacy, or lose everything, including access to the child via custody battles they could fund.
Ben wavered visibly.
I need time, he pleaded. Outside, in the driveway, we argued fiercely. Fight for us, I yelled. I am fighting, but for what? A life of struggle? His words echoed societal prejudices. Gay relationships as lesser, unstable. It hurt, forcing me to question if I was pushing too hard. In the ensuing days, Ben proposed a compromise. Co-parent with Sarah platonically, while seeing me discreetly. Best of both worlds. Felt like betrayal.
No.
I won't be your secret. He accused me of selfishness. You're asking me to choose you over my child? The argument ended in stalemate. Ben moved in with Sarah temporarily. For the pregnancy, contact dwindled to texts. Isolation consumed me. I sought my own therapy, unpacking the pain. Love shouldn't require sacrifice like this, my counselor said. But in a world stacked against us, it did. A glimmer came via Emily. She called, supportive. Ben's miserable. He loves you, but fears winning. Encouraged, I wrote him a letter, pouring out my soul, urging courage. No response. Then, at a work event, I ran into Jake. Heard Ben's back with Sarah. Weddings on. Devastated, I confronted Ben at his office. Is it true? He nodded, ashamed. I have to. For the baby. For stability. It was the ultimate betrayal, choosing conformity over authenticity. You coward. I spat, storming out. The pain was visceral, like losing a limb. I considered leaving New York, starting fresh. But roots held me. The wedding invitation arrived like a dagger in the mail. Ben and Sarah. Formal ceremony at the family estate. No personal note, just cold print. I stared at it for hours, debating attendance. Go and fight, or accept defeat. In the end, I went for closure. The estate buzzed with guests, oblivious to the undercurrents. Ben looked sharp in his tux, but his eyes held shadows. During the reception, he pulled me aside. Thanks for coming. Means a lot. Does it? You're marrying her. For the baby. But I still think about us. It was torture, lingering feelings amid vows to another. Sarah, glowing in her gown, shot me wary glances. Later, she cornered me. Leave him alone. He's chosen. Has he? Or was he forced? Her eyes softened briefly. We all make choices. Mine's to build a family. The night ended with me leaving early, heart heavy. Ben's choice was made, but the cost showed. Rumors at his firm died down. Promotion came through. Stability restored, at the price of his soul. Months passed. Their son, Lucas, was born healthy. Ben sent a photo, tiny bundle, his eyes. Wish you could meet him, the message read. I replied neutrally, masking envy. My life moved on. Promotion at work, new friends in the LGBTQ community. I dated casually, but comparisons lingered. Ben's betrayal scarred, teaching wariness. Then, a late-night call. Ben, voice slurred. I made a mistake. Miss you. You're married. Father. Act like it. He sobbed. This life, it's empty. Sarah knows. We're roommates, basically. The confession reopened wounds. Why tell me now? Therapy. Realizing I suppressed who I am. We met secretly again like old times. Coffee in obscure spots. Ben detailed his misery. Loveless marriage, performative family life. Dad's proud, but I'm dying inside. Sympathy warred with anger. You chose this. Own it. He nodded. I did. But can we be friends? Friendship felt like demotion, but I agreed. Slowly we rebuilt, platonic, cautious. But tension simmered. One evening, walking home, he stopped. I love you still. Always have. The admission hung heavy. What now? Divorce? Skandang. He shrugged. Maybe. For Lucas's sake. I have to be careful. The moral maze deepened. Cheating? No, but emotional affairs skirted lines. Society judged harshly, gay man stealing a husband. But Ben's unhappiness was palpable. Emily became ally, urging Ben toward truth. Come out. We'll support you. But his parents doubled down, involving church elders in counseling. Sessions reinforced traditional values, guilting Ben. The breaking point came during a family vacation. Ben called mid-trip, frantic. I can't breathe here. Pretending is killing me. Leave. Come home. He did, packing, flying back early. Showed up at my door, suitcase in hand. I'm done lying. We embraced as friends, but the spark reignited. That night, talks turned to plans. Divorce, custody, coming out. Sarah was blindsided but resigned. I knew this day would come. They agreed to co-parent amicably. Ben's family exploded. Father disowned him verbally. Mother pleaded tears. Think of Lucas. I am. He deserves a happy dad. The fallout was swift. Firm demoted him. Clients fled. Financial strain hit, legal fees, new apartment. Ben moved in with me temporarily, our bond tested by reality. Society's judgment rained down. Old friends ghosted. Online trolls targeted us after a leaked story. Ben's internal struggle peaked. Regret over lost privilege versus newfound freedom. One night, amid boxes, he broke. Was it worth it? The pain. I held him. You tell me. Gradually, healing began. Ben found a new job at a progressive firm, embracing his identity. We attended pride events, hand in hand, small acts of defiance. But scars remained. Lucas's custody battles loomed, grandparents fighting for influence. Moral debates raged. Was Ben selfish for disrupting the family, or brave for authenticity? As support grew from Emily, new allies, Ben awakened. I was blind to the damage denial causes. Our relationship evolved, no longer hidden. But the journey's toll was evident. Lost relationships, career setbacks. In quieter moments, Ben reflected. The choices we make define us. I chose truth, late but real. With the divorce finalized, Ben and I stepped into uncharted territory. Co-parenting with Sarah worked surprisingly well. She dated anew, supportive of Ben's happiness. Lucas, toddling now, split time between homes. Ben's joy in fatherhood was undeniable, but guilt lingered over the disruption. His family's estrangement cut deep. Holidays alone missed milestones. Mother reached out sporadically, torn between love and doctrine. Father remained stonewalled, a symbol of unyielding tradition.
Professionally, Ben rebuilt.
His new firm valued diversity. He mentored young LGBTQ lawyers, channeling pain into purpose. I advanced 2 leading inclusive campaigns. Together, we volunteered at community centers, advocating against discrimination. But shadows persisted. A heated argument erupted one evening. Sometimes I wonder if I'd be happier in the old life, Ben admitted. Stunned, I retorted, then go back. Don't string me along. He backpedaled. No, I don't mean that. Just the ease. No judgment. It highlighted ongoing internal conflict. Societal conditioning versus self-acceptance. Therapy continued unpacking layers. A breakthrough came via a reconciliation attempt. Emily organized a neutral ground meeting with parents. Tense but honest. Ben spoke his truth. I'm gay. I love Alex. This is me. Mother wept, hugging him. I miss my son. Father grumbled but listened. No instant forgiveness, but a crack in the armor. Give me time, he said. Progress was fragile. Church friends shunned them. Community whispered. But Ben's awakening strengthened. I see now the harm in silence, in conformity. Our story inspired others. Friends shared similar struggles, fostering a support network. Yet the costs tallied. Emotional scars, financial hits, fractured bonds. One crisp autumn day in Central Park, where it all began, we sat on a bench. Ben turned to me. Thank you for not giving up. I almost did, but love's worth the fight. He smiled, genuine. It is. As life stabilized, reflections deepened. The journey exposed maw of prejudice, but also resilience. Ben's choices, initial betrayal, eventual courage, sparked debates among friends. Was his path ethical? Did duty trump self? In quiet moments, Ben pondered. I hurt people. Sarah, Lucas, you. But staying in denial would have hurt more long-term. I agreed, but questions lingered. Society's evolution was slow, our story a microcosm. Years on, Lucas grew knowing 2 dads, Ben and me, plus Sarah's partner. Acceptance bloomed, but not without battles. School bullies, family tensions. Ben taught resilience. Be true to yourself. His parents thawed gradually. Grandfatherly love won over dogma. They attended Lucas's birthday, awkward but present. Ben's career flourished, authoring articles on LGBTQ rights in law. I published a memoir snippet, anonymized, sparking discussions. The awakening was complete, but not without lingering what-ifs. Had Ben chosen differently, would happiness elude, or persist in facade? Our bond, forged in fire, endured. No fairy tale, but real flaws, growth, love. As the story closes, one question remains. Was Ben's ultimate choice to embrace his true self the right one, despite the widespread pain it caused? Or should he have prioritized his original family obligations to avoid the collateral damage?